when you find something that just works, something that you kind of feel in your gut is the right thing to do, you just want to do it all the time, right? This is kind of a day that I had today. We went to the gym, went to a different gym, so a different kind of setup. Found this glued ham developer somewhere in a corridor out of the way. I was actually laughing to my cameraman. It's so funny because like 10 years ago, you couldn't freaking find a squat rack in some of these gyms. Now there's plenty of squat racks, but the glued ham raise is down the corridor and around the corner, and no one kind of knows where it is. Like basically no one ever uses it. And I was just saying to him, like in 5-10 years time, more and more people are going to realize that this is probably the best machine you could possibly have in a gym, and these things are going to be front and center right next to the door, so people just get straight into it. Anyway, this machine killed me today. I did 10 sets of 10 before the squats, and I did 10 sets of 10 after the squats. The way I'm doing them right now, as you can see, is a lot different to how I was doing the hyper 45-degree hyper last week. I was kind of flexing my abs, trying to target the hamstring and the glute. Today, inspired by Dmitry Klokov, I decided to do exactly what he did and just basically flex every single muscle on the back of me. So basically from your neck all the way down to the heel. I'm talking traps, erectors, glutes, hamstrings, calves, even the foot. Everything's flexed at that top position. And the strength curve in this movement is fantastic because the most difficult portion of the lift is at the top. Not like with the good morning. With the good morning, it's at the bottom. So where you are changing direction is where the hardest portion of the lift is, and that is a recipe for disaster. This is why it's really awkward to load good mornings, because at the top it feels hell easy. You get to the bottom and it's Snap City. With this thing, it's not like that. The full contraction at the top, you have control. All the way at the bottom, you kind of like decompressing your spine. So my calves, not so much my calves, but my calves also, but hamstrings, glutes, and lower back were lit. Absolutely lit after it. I turned to my cameraman, I said, dude, decision's made. I'm going to get a GHD. Easy. It's a big mammoth of a thing, but I'm going to put it somewhere, man. I'm going to clear space. I don't care if I have to freaking throw half of these damn floating floorboards. I'll make space, man. I don't care. That's how I feel about it. It was amazing. So by the time I got to the platform to do some squats, oh man, I was really kind of, I was warm, but my lower back was full of blood. And I had concerns whether I was going to put any kind of decent numbers up today. So I kind of spent a little bit of time kind of sitting in the hole and stretching my lower back and glutes kind of to give in a proper position so I can get into a proper position. But the moment I got 60 kilos on the bar, man, I felt like I could jump with this thing, man. I felt like I could jump. Yes, I felt poppy as hell, man. Man, I felt athletic like crazy. So anyway, 100 kilos, 140, 160, 180, all that felt good. Another lifter that was kind of lifting on the opposite side approached me and he was like, dude, are you wearing a belt underneath? To which I kind of giggled and I said, no, I never wear a belt. And he's like, why? Are you going to get you hurt? And I said to him, look, the reason why I don't wear belts is because I actually want to train my core. I don't want the core to deactivate or get help. I want my core to be the limiting factor. You know what I mean? So I think that was a very interesting conversation that I had with him, because he kept saying to me, man, you're making this thing look easy. Later on, I said to my cameraman, I'm probably like 10,000 reps ahead of him. I mean, he had like 7 kilos on the bar and he was quarter squatting it and whatever. I just said to him, man, just put some time into it, frequent this movement. Spend a lot of time thinking about this movement and how you can kind of get through. But I basically said to him, it's all in your hamstrings and your glutes. Just work on those things, man. It's the key. So around this time, I think this is 160. I can't really see. 160, 180, I started feeling really, really good. And I turned to my cameraman. I said, I think today's going to be the day where I hit maybe the PR or I hit a 200. So everything was going well, and I think it's primarily because of the glute ham developer. This morning I woke up, and the interesting thing was I had a kind of like a mild lower back ache, not in the sense of muscle ache, erectors, but kind of like the wrong ache. And yesterday I did a whole bunch of good mornings. I loaded it up to 30 kilos. and I felt kind of a little bit uncomfortable this morning. I don't know, it's because I slept on my stomach, and I usually sleep on my stomach in kind of like really hyper lordotic kind of posture, and I'm always kind of trying to address it. But anyway, got to the gym, started doing the GHDs, and I felt amazing. So this is 190 here. Beautiful. The core is always straight. It's just the legs doing the work, man, because everything else is solid. I loved it. I actually saw the footage. I got my cameraman to show me the footage, and I said, man, we got to go to 200. So I loaded 200 up. And if this went better than it did, I would have gone for a PR. It kind of slowed down a little bit for me, kind of in that sticking point. So I decided not to be a numbskull today and just snap my spine. I decided just to leave it for another day, especially with all the glute ham development reps that I did. It just didn't make sense. Today was going to be a PR day. So this is 200. Yeah, great integrity through the spine. Really strong core. Maybe the legs are not strong enough. Maybe the hamstrings are not strong enough to kind of extend the hip. But yeah, 200, very happy. Fist bump for my cameraman. And then I went to the deadlifts. Now, I talked about good mornings, how good they are, and how they've kind of replaced my deadlifting routine of the previous kind of weeks. I love the good morning for its stretch, for its amazing kind of concentration on the hamstring. But because you can't load the good morning safely, I kind of want to do deadlifting twice, maybe 3 times a week, where I kind of just give it a bit of a tinkle with some proper tension. It's not just about reps anymore with the deadlifts. I'm getting the reps through the good mornings and the GHD. So I have to get some tension through the posterior chain. So I decided to do some proper conventional deadlifts and loaded it up fairly quickly. It was all singles from the bar all the way up to 220 today, 5 plates. And also, if you guys probably might not realize that I changed my technique a little bit. I'm kind of exploring how to control my neck. In the previous times, I've kind of even tucked my chin with the hope of kind of reducing that lower back kind of lordosis or too much arching in the lower back. Too much of an arch in the lower back is also as bad as too much flexion in the lower back or too much rounding in the lower back. Basically, if you think about the discs in your lower back, in your spine anyway, really, and the vertebra, these discs are kind of like cushions in between. So if there's any sort of, if you're not stacked 100% properly, you are basically loading one side of those discs more than the other, and you're basically risking pinching them, popping them, herniating them, all that kind of thing, whatever word you want to use. So you always want to have kind of a neutral spine. It's not a flat back, a neutral spine, because there needs to be some sort of curvature through the spine. So I kind of looking up here, and I said to the cameraman, look, man, this is actually feeling really well. So I can still flex my abs irrespective of what my head is doing. So that's kind of what I was trying to do here. And then here, I think this is 200. Really strong off the floor. Once again, I have to say, glute ham developer really made this day. I was just feeling my hams and my glutes and my lower back so much. I just felt super confident to kind of push and pull with confidence. Lovely. This felt amazing. It looks amazing as well. But then again, everything looks amazing on camera. Everything. So then I decided to load it up to 5 plates, 220 kilos. From memory, I think this kind of moved slow. But I felt really good doing it. The speed is very important to me. I've mentioned this a number of times throughout the videos that I've done, because the speed is kind of like, telling you what sort of exertion you've got on the bar. If it's really grindy and slow, you're really, diving deep into your reserves and into your recovery. But let's have a look here. This is 220. Nice. And I think I lowered it slowly down now. That fella that walked past really timed his walk past perfectly. exactly where we didn't want him. But anyway, that was basically the squat, 200 squat, 220 deadlift. And that's right, like I already mentioned, I went back to the glute ham developer and I wanted to pay some more dues, man. I just went bonkers on this. I did 10 sets of 10 here as well. I actually wanted to do 5 sets of 20, but there was no way in hell I was strong enough for that. Like my lower back and my hamstrings were fried. So I just stuck with the 10s. I know that is a lot of repetitions for one day, and I'm probably going to be sore tomorrow. But man, was I excited about this. It just feels good, feels strong. I feel like if you just squat and you do these things, this exercise for 1,000,000 reps, I reckon that's my recipe to get to 300 kilos. Honestly, that's how confident I am with this right now. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.